After taking the oath of office, President Trump did more in 24 hours in one day than many presidents accomplish in 2 entire terms in office. But of course, Sonny Holstein over at The View said, "See, I told you he was going to be a dictator on day one." Honestly, the uber ignorance of people like her is mind-blowing.
Let's get ready to rumble! You can't handle the truth. I'm surviving on the top of the line.
Hi, I'm Pastor Marty. Welcome to the Afternoon Drive. Please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Once you are, smack the bell, click the word all. That will give you notification of my rants, my ravings, my undeniably flawless reasonings. Please like and share this video. It's the only way that we can get the word out that we're here. The algorithm here doesn't help us, but you can. I don't sell you t-shirts, merch, or ask you in any way to subscribe or pay to a Patreon. This is completely free. I'm a staff of one, but it would help me if you would share the link to this video on your social media platforms. Thank you, and welcome to the Afternoon Drive. Donald Trump has signed a series of executive orders, and of course, you know, some of these pundits in the media still haven't learned that the beatdown that they got in November is people are tired of all of the over-the-top hyperbole against Donald Trump. That over 60% of the American people support what Donald Trump is trying to do, with everything from closing the border to the mandate that they have given him. And the media still, trying to insinuate that Elon Musk was giving a zero, which he was not. This constant pearl clutching. He signed more executive orders in the first day. Most presidents signed 1 or 2. He did over 200, which means he was prepped, ready to roll, and ready to rock right on day one. And you do know that most presidential executive orders given within their first, few days in office is repealing everything that their predecessor did. While I like the fast effectiveness of an executive order, I also understand it can be undone by the very next president. So I really do like the idea of putting a lot of this through Congress, letting them vote on it, and making these changes permanently, like forever. That said, some of his executive orders are already being challenged in the courts, like the fact that he kneecapped affirmative action. Affirmative action was given to us by executive order. Most people don't realize that. It's not the law of the land. Lyndon Baines Johnson gave us affirmative action with the stroke of a pen. It wasn't voted on. It's not a piece of legislation. It was a presidential executive directive. That's all it's ever been. And other presidents have been scared to touch it because the Jesse Jacksons and the Al Sharptons of the 70s and 80s would come after them. And then by the time we roll into the 2000s, it was just considered to be the law of the land. And what it actually is sanctioned racism. Picking one group over another group. Listening to Sonny Holstein and others try to rip apart Donald Trump's inaugural address that on Martin Luther King Day, which is technically January the 15th. That's his actual birthday. How do I know that? It's my birthday. Martin, sharing the same birthday. Celebrate it then, because constitutionally, it is the third Monday of January, directed by the Constitution, that is inauguration day of the new president. So if you're going to make that MLK Day, then every 4 years, Sonny, you're going to have to put up with this. And what Donald Trump did in his inaugural address was actually a paraphrase of Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream. When Donald Trump said, we are going to stop shoving gender and race down the throats of the American people and trying to indoctrinate it in our schools and through legislation, that we are going to be a colorblind society and we are going to reward people based on merit. That is exactly what Dr. King said and what he meant when he said, I am looking forward to the day when my children are not judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. It is time to really live the Martin Luther King dream, which means we need to be a colorblind society. So we know that Trump's directive rolling back affirmative action is going to be challenged in the courts. I believe that this is a fight that Donald Trump is up for, because one thing we do know about this second term of Donald Trump, it's his last hurrah, and this is his legacy term. And he's got many things that he's got on the agenda for the American Golden Age. And one of them is this perpetual prosperity and getting back to common sense and true equality, which means not virtue signaling, not playing the race bait game, but literally getting away with just getting rid of all of that, those claims of sexism and racism, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and literally saying we will reward people based on their ability, based on their talent, based on their qualifications. And that's where he's heading, and he will fight this one. This is a fight he's down for, and I believe he'll win it. Now, one of the other executive orders, and a lot of the executive orders are really being talked about, but a couple really aren't. And one of them that's not being talked about is mandating that federal workers in Washington go back to work in person in the buildings. Now, during the scamdemic, and I can't believe that we've allowed Joseph Mengele, i.e. Dr. Fauci, to skate on a presidential pardon, which I still want to challenge the ability of a mentally impaired individual, if it's a legally binding pardon, that Biden was in no mental state to be able to legally create a legally binding contract. That said, the scamdemic, one of the things it did, force people to go, stay home, work from home. The businesses that got killed as a result of that, the mom and pop stores and restaurants and coffee shops that were all in downtown areas that service the people who work there, and then poof, like the rapture, they were just gone. And in a lot of places, they have not come back. And Donald Trump said, you're coming back. And he's saying that for a couple of reasons. One, the inefficiency of government is over the top anyway. We all know that. But when people are now home, not being properly supervised, work is not getting done. And one of the jobs that the government has allowed to just kind of stay home forever are when you call a government agency and the person you talk to on the phone, they don't have to be in the office. They can do that from their living room couch. And Representative Clay Higgins from Louisiana has had enough of that. And he was challenging the former commissioner of the Social Security that this is bad policy. We're paying people to absolutely do nothing, and this is why Donald Trump has to repeal this. I'm going to close out the program by just letting you listen to Clay Higgins tear into the director of Social Security and the little surprise that he had for him. His own phone call.
Mr. Chairman, this is Social Security for 1 hour, 28 minutes, 25 seconds. Phone number 800-772-1213. It's a number for Social Security. This is what our elders have to listen to. These are our elders, my man.
Yes, sir.
The reason they're calling, when I have a question for you, I'll ask it. That's the way this works. The reason our elders call for help is because they need help. Not because they won't listen to elevator music. They want to talk to a human being. the first 5 minutes of this on hold for an hour and a half, Mr. Chairman, was instructions to get to various websites, which our elders have difficulty doing. I have difficulty doing it. Elders frequently confused and alone, scared. They don't have like laptops and apps and things. They have a telephone. They want to talk to a human being. But wait, they have a local Social Security office they could go to, right? That's a historical model. No. I'll give you Exhibit B. This is from your website, or was, before you ran for DNC and retired in November after negotiating this deal that you think ties the hands of the incoming executive. But we're going to defeat that in Article 3. I'll go and get into that in a minute. But from the website, listen to this, America. Pay attention to what's happening to our elders. If you need in-person help, you must first make an appointment. Now you make the appointment on the telephone. You know who answers the phone? Nobody. This is a greatly efficient Social Security Administration. All of our offices, we struggle and work so hard to care for our elders, and the number one complaint is that they can't get any answers or even anybody on the phone at Social Security. So I want you to know, Governor O'Malley, that I completely support your run for DNC chair. You have a certain air of elitist superiority that perfectly reflects your party, and I completely support your run. I hope you get it. Earlier in your testimony, you stated that the contract you signed that presumes to commit the executive branch and the federal government through 2029 to a union agreement. In fact, they hail it in CNN as Social Security Union secures telework deal. And it said the deal will secure telework for SSA employees through 2029. That's a union guy to CNN. You said it doesn't tie the hands of the incoming administration. I happen to agree with you, Governor, but that's because the founders were wise enough to divide the powers of our government. And we're going to defeat the contract you signed in Article 3. Watch us do it. But in the terms of the contract, it states, in the language in Article 41, Section 3, strikes the words that the Commissioner will determine the number of scheduled telework days, if any, eligible positions and percentages of employees permitted to telework, and replaces it with the Commissioner will adhere to the current number of telework days, eligible positions, and percentages of employees permitted to work telework as of the date of this agreement until October 25th, 2029. But by some measure, you say, yeah, that doesn't tie the hands of the incoming administration. That was your testimony about an hour and a half ago before I got on hold with Social Security. That never answered. So let me just say that, man to man, brother, I respect you. You're standing your ground. You're here today under fire. You know it. And I appreciate that. So man to man, you and I can probably get along pretty good. But it's a mischaracterization of our position, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Ranking Member, to say that we have that Republican conservatives and fiscal hawks like me have a problem with the federal employees. We have a problem with federal employees failing to perform. And we associate the failure to perform with realities that we face. You want to talk to us in person, get an appointment. You want to get an appointment, make a phone call, we don't answer the phone. That failure to perform is the issue, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Ranking Member. That's our issue with the federal government employees. And we associate it with not showing up for work through telework. So let me say that those federal employees that do not show up for work, they're going to get fired.